What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, up $621 on the day. Good day for sure, but it was a bit of an up and down morning. But let's get into the trades. First and foremost, I want to invite you to my free Discord chat. If you're a new trader or experienced trader, all are welcome. Link for that is in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're catching this on StockTwits, you'll see the link for that in my profile page. But again, let's get into the trades. So kind of Friday was just nuts, all right, with or Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, last week, just insane movements in low float stocks. So one of the big names of recent is Craig. This one hit my high day scanner, and I was like, I really like the daily chart on it, and I still kind of do. It looks like maybe it needs to curl a little bit more before we get that move back up, if we get a move back up. You got to remember, just because the daily looks good doesn't mean it's ever going to curl back up. Really, this thing is popping up for no reason. There's no reason for this to be popping up. It should be a $1.50 stock, but maybe some people that want to swing this for technical play will step in and get this thing to move back up. But that's what I was kind of looking for today. It was my first trade, and it started hitting my scanners with some volume. You can kind of see the volume coming in here, and it was getting into the 390s area, and I thought, okay, for the break of 4 would be great, because um, on the curl here on the daily chart, if we got over about, what is this, 415-ish, somewhere in there, we'd get that daily candle over candle, which would signal a move back up. Uh, Unfortunately, when I got in, which was basically, yeah, I top ticked it. Absolutely top ticked it right there. As soon as I bought, boom, it sold off quite a bit. And I actually had to hold this for quite some time. I sold at 941 for a loss just to get out, and I was happy to only lose, what is that, 4 cents on the trade. So I had to hold this for much longer than I anticipated, but it just couldn't get the momentum to break over 4. So I got out, and then I was just going to hold on. And I ended up playing it again, looking for that $4 break. It hit right here. Let's see, where is it at? 944, right here. Volume started coming in, high day break. I went long again at 390. I got a 390 fill, and I was looking for this $4 break, and I think I added there. Yeah, you can see right here as we're hitting this, I added, and what happened is there's a hidden seller there, and it just completely killed the momentum. If we could have gotten over $4, I really think this thing would have taken off. But there's a hidden seller. If you were looking at the ask, it just showed there was 100 shares on the ask, but really people were blowing up the ask, and it wasn't moving at all. So it ended up, as you can see, coming back down, and I ended up selling for a loss. Actually, my first lot I made 2 cents. My second lot I lost 17 cents on it. So that put me in the hole to start the day. My next trade was ACST. This one, it hit high a day, pulled back, and the chat room I was in went long on this one as well, and it just couldn't get the momentum. And it was just a ton of sellers, and I was like, wow, if our chat room is buying this right now with a lot of volume, it's going down, I would just want out. And sure enough, I ended up selling inside the same candle here for about a 8-cent loss, and it just completely sold off from there. So it was a good idea to try it, but it just sold off and didn't work out. My next trade was Skies. This was just some news play on it. I couldn't even remember what the news was, but I'm very familiar with Skies, SKYS, and whenever they have positive news, the stock can move. You can kind of see former movements right here. That's a prime example of it. So it's a low float. Well, it's a much bigger float now, but it used to be a low float stock. Probably wouldn't have traded it had I seen that. But at the time, I just heard Skies, heard good news. I bought 2,000 shares right here, actually at the bottom of this candle. Um, 167 popped up, and I sold at 178. So 11-cent win there on 2,000 shares. COTY, this one was a 13D filing. I think it was their CEO bought 1 million shares right at this price point. Actually, it was like $17.15. So when I heard that, I went long. As you see, it spiked up here with some volume when the 13D came out. It's like, okay, well, if he's buying it at 17.15, this is a steal here. Maybe it'll get this thing to move up. And it popped up a little bit, and it just didn't really move like I thought. This is the candle I bought inside of, and it just couldn't get the momentum. So as it was coming back down, my stop loss was going to be the break of the low of the previous 1 minute candle, and I got stopped out for a -2. And it came back up and kind of tried it again, but just really couldn't hold any move. It's just kind of all over the place. So didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Cut it loose, moved on. CHFS. This one was a chat room play. This was Jason Bond's group. This is a group I subscribe to. They're mainly a swing trading service. If you're interested in that, the link for that is in the description down below. But anyway, they went long CHFS, and I just wanted to ride the momentum. This is one of those crazy stocks that should be down here in the $4 range, but 2-3 days ago went all the way to $24. So it's a former mover for sure, and these guys are trying to get in a little bit early on it and see if it can get going with some momentum, and they created some momentum. So when I heard that they were buying, went long at 8.94 right here. I was just going for the break at 9. It broke 9 pretty easily and pretty quickly. I sold half at 9.15, $9.15 right here, and it popped all the way up to 9.38, and I was like, please bid. The bid wouldn't catch up. The bid stayed at like $9, so it was like $9 by 9.40 at one point. So it was very hard to exit on this and not just tank your earnings. So that's why I sold half at 9, and I got a lucky fill. It took a market order, and I got filled at 9.15. And the second half, as you can see, I sold at 9.07. It did end up getting back up there, but just couldn't hold the move and ended up selling off. So that's why I always encourage, if you've got a good amount of shares and you're profitable, take half, or take a quarter off the table, so at least you're profitable. You never know what a stock's going to do. LEDS, this one I know multiple chat rooms were watching. I know that this is a former runner. I mean, it went from 250 all the way to $10 pretty quickly all in one day. People were looking for that same kind of move. So big move out of the gates today. Pulled back, and it just kind of consolidated and created this this kind of ascending triangle here. If I could just kind of draw it a little bit for you. That's kind of what it created here on the 5 minute. And it was just kind of hovering in this area, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot. So I kind of got in a little early. Let's see, 10, let's get the right time frame here. Bring it on over. Okay. So 10:32, there was 500 shares on the ask. I thought I was going to buy them up, so I bought 500 shares, and it didn't go anywhere. So I was going to go real small here because I didn't know. This thing could have easily just tanked. So went small, looking for the other chat rooms to buy into this thing, break this ascending triangle to the upside. And it looked like it was going to get going, so I bought another 1,500 shares right here. And as soon as I bought it, I don't know, maybe everybody was watching this thing, and maybe my volume, my simple 1,500 shares just lit the spark that sent this thing into orbit. Well, not really orbit, but you know what I mean. It shot up, and so I had 2,000 shares. I sold 1,000 at 634 inside this candle here, and the other half I sold at 648. I'm sorry, I added another 2,000 shares. Wait, what did I do? Oh yeah, that's right. So I had 2,000 shares basically at 627. I sold half at 634. Then I rebought that half I just sold at 648, looking for that 650 break inside this candle. Big volume came in. There was a big seller at 650. So as long as the volume looked like it was going to break that, I wanted a piece of it, so I rebought 1,000 shares, 648, and I sold inside this pop here at 668. Just hit a limit order way below the bid sign, just so I knew I got filled, and I got a good fill at 668. So very nice win there, and that turned my red day into a nice green day for sure. So again, I want to invite you all to my free Discord chat. I'm there to help new traders, and we would love to have some more experienced traders as well, helping out everybody and calling out your trades. So I will see you guys in the next video.